You ever see someone mistake silence for weakness only to realize, far too late, they just crossed the one person who owns the whole board? Stay with me, because what happened next turned a single slap in a luxury hotel lobby into a reckoning no amount of money could stop. The insult cut through the Ellison grand like a blade, sharp in public when the white manager voice rang out telling Maya Ellison to get her loud attitude out of his lobby before he had her dragged out, his words dripping with entitlement as he slapped the black credit card from her hand and sent it skittering across the marble floor. The sound echoing under crystal chandeliers that had once been installed on her direct approval, and then, before anyone could even process the humiliation, his hand cracked across her cheek, a sound so loud it snapped the entire lobby into stunned silence. And in that moment, he had no idea he'd just assaulted the woman whose signature controlled his job, his building, and his future. Maya didn't scream, didn't stumble, didn't collapse into the role he expected. She stood perfectly still, absorbing the blow with a calm so unnerving it made him hesitate. And that hesitation would haunt him later. Just an hour earlier, the morning sun had glinted off the gold letters, spelling Ellison Grand Hotel as due Maya. Ellison stepped out of a sleek town car, her navy dress immaculate, her expression composed, carrying only a small suitcase because she hadn't planned to stay long. This visit wasn't ceremonial. It was investigative. As founder and CEO of Ellison Hospitality, she'd built her empire on a promise her parents never had growing up, that no one would be turned away, diminished, or humiliated because of how they looked, yet whispers of discrimination at her flagship property had grown too loud to ignore, and she needed to see the truth with her own eyes. Without her title preceding her, inside the doorman barely acknowledged her, his attention drifting to a white couple behind her. Maya noted but didn't react to, because she'd learned long ago how to catalog disrespect without letting it derail her purpose. At the front desk, the clerk asked for ID and card with clipped suspicion, while the white guests beside her were waved through warmly. And when Maya calmly mentioned a double charge on her reservation, the interaction shifted fast, interrupted by Travis Cole, the hotel manager, whose confidence radiated the kind of unchecked authority that only comes from years of never being challenged. He dismissed her concern, suggested she might be more comfortable somewhere within her price range, and when she asked to speak to someone in authority, he smirked and told her she was already looking at him, every word designed to remind her of where he believed she belonged. Maya stood her ground, refusing to be minimized in a building she'd paid for brick by brick, and when she reached for her phone to call corporate, Travis crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, grabbing her wrist, calling security, and then, in front of staff, guests, and cameras, striking her across the face. The lobby froze, phones rose, breaths caught, and something ancient and ugly revealed itself in full daylight. But Maya's response was not chaos, it was control. She straightened, touched her cheek, and with deliberate calm, put her phone on speaker, identifying herself to corporate operations as Dr. Maya Ellison, reporting that she had just been physically assaulted by her own hotel manager. The shift in the room was immediate, and electric faces drained, recognition dawned, and the power dynamic Travis had relied on collapsed in real time as HR was looped in. Security footage locked down and access cards revoked. Staff were gathered. The hotel was shut down for review, and in one decisive moment, Maya terminated the entire on-duty team pending investigation, not out of vengeance, but because rot like that doesn't live in isolation. It survives through silence and complicity. That the slap was only the surface of something far deeper. Behind closed doors, board members urged caution, spoke of optics and shareholder concerns, and quietly reminded Maya that Travis belonged to a founding family with deep industry ties, suggesting she step back temporarily while things cooled off, as if assault were a PR inconvenience rather than a crime. It was in those moments Maya realized the system she'd built had been compromised from the inside, protecting legacy power over human dignity. With the help of a civil rights attorney and a longtime housekeeper named Gloria, who had spent 35 years documenting discrimination in notebooks no one wanted to read, the truth began to surface. Decades of buried complaints, racist practices normalized as policy, promotions denied, guests targeted, warnings ignored because the wrong families were involved. When a manipulated video hit social media, carefully edited to remove the slap and portray Maya as an unhinged executive conducting a racially motivated purge. The board used it as justification to place her on indefinite administrative leave, escorting her out of the company she founded, while commentators labeled her volatile and power-hungry, erasing the violence done to her and reframing her dignity as aggression. But they underestimated one thing. Maya didn't build her empire by backing down when narratives turned hostile. While old money scrambled to protect itself, Maya, her attorney, Gloria, and a growing circle of witnesses prepared something the system couldn't control, a live public reckoning. At a town hall streamed worldwide, unedited security footage played in full, Gloria's notebooks were displayed, whistleblowers stepped forward, and evidence emerged showing that the founding family had already been negotiating a sale of the flagship hotel contingent on Maya's removal, turning Travis's assault into a calculated trigger rather than an accident. At an emergency shareholder, decades of silence were replaced with receipts, messages, emails, and testimony. And when the vote was called, the founding family lost control, the sale collapsed, and Travis Cole was arrested on the spot for assault and evidence tampering. His entitlement finally meeting consequence under bright lights and rolling cameras. Months later, the Ellison Grand reopened, transformed, not just renovated, but restructured from the ground up with new leadership, new policies, profit sharing, whistleblower protections, and a general manager named Gloria Watkins, whose years of quiet endurance had become institutional wisdom. On reopening day, Maya stood in the lobby watching an older black family check in without suspicion, without extra scrutiny, without fear. And when the grandmother quietly told her that hotels like this once turned them away, Maya answered with the truth she'd fought for her entire life. Not anymore, not here, not ever again. And that's the thing they never understand. When you slap someone who knows exactly who they are, you don't silence them. You activate everything they've built.